So to revise, what were the basic four conditions of the Britishers? If any Indian ruler is signing subsidiary alliance with the Britishers, they are saying that that ruler cannot have his own army, first condition. The second condition is, why is this getting blurred? Yes, the second condition is the British army will be there at the ruler's place, okay, and if the ruler does not want British army, they can give some part of their land to Britishers. Also, when Britisher army is going at the ruler's place for bringing peace or to stop any revolt or any war, so in that the ruler has to give some amount to the Britishers, okay, compensation, or have to pay for its maintenance. The third thing was, now the ruler has to take permissions from the Britishers if they are signing or if they are making any alliance or treaty with any other ruler. And the fourth condition was that a British officer who is called a resident, he will be kept at the ruler's court. Also, no other European person was allowed at this court. So basically, you know how is the subsidiary alliance very clever move. By signing subsidiary alliance, Britishers are trying to control each and every part of that ruler, okay, and making that ruler weak enough. Now let us study further. The subsidiary arrangement was very advantageous to the British. They could maintain a large army at the cost of Indian rulers. The indirectly controlled the defense and foreign affairs of the protected ally, and could overthrow the ruler and annex his territories whenever they wished to. Also, the resident could interfere in the internal affairs of the kingdom to further the interest of the company. Now you can see through the subsidiary alliance how the Britishers are actually trying for their benefit only. See, they are taking large army at the cost of Indian rulers. Indian rulers at that time had a very large strength of people. So now by signing subsidiary alliance, the ruler has to give their army, that is a lot of number of people, okay. Now Britishers used to fight wars and at the cost of Indian rulers. So whenever there is war, even British soldiers used to die, and that was Indian only, because Britishers की आर्मी में कौन से ज़्यादा लोग थे, इंडियन लोग ही थे जो ब्रिटिश की आर्मी में उनके लिए लड़ते थे, और जो ब्रिटिशर्स ने रूलर्स से ही लिए थे. एंड दिस रेजिडेंट क्या काम करते थे, जब भी रूलर्स को कोई भी इम्पॉर्टेंट इंटरनल डिसीजंस लेने होते थे अपने एम्पायर के रिगार्डिंग, सो हमेशा वो इंटरफेयर करते थे उनके डिसीजंस में, और हमेशा एक चेक करने की कोशिश करते थे कि ओके व्हाट आर दे ट्राइंग टू डू. सो एट एवरी लेवल ब्रिटिशर्स वर हैविंग चेक ऑन द रूलर्स. On the other hand, the Indian rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance became totally dependent on British. Now what happened? All the rulers who have signed the subsidiary alliance, now they became dependent on Britishers. Why? Their army was with the Britishers. In order to make any alliance or any new treaty with any other ruler, they have to take permission. Even in their court, the British resident was there. So at every way the ruler was controlled. Also, ऐसा नहीं होता था कि अगर आपने सब्सिडरी अलायंस साइन किया है सो ब्रिटिशर्स आपकी टेरिटरी को नहीं लेंगे. वेन एवर ब्रिटिशर्स वॉन्टेड देयर टेरिटरीज of that ruler, they used to annex the territories, that is they used to forcefully take the territories and either defeat the ruler in the, you can say, battle, or just throw him away, okay. He could no longer take decisions independently. Now the rulers cannot take their own decisions. The high cost of maintaining the British army and the constant demands of the residents also drained the treasury. Now Britishers were getting a lot of money when they were sending their British army to rulers. So when, let's suppose A is having Britishers army okay, because they have signed a subsidiary alliance. So A has to pay a certain amount, and that amount was not small, that amount was a very large amount. So due to that amount, and residents constantly when they used to interfere in the decisions of the ruler, so this made ruler very weak. The company signed the first subsidiary treaty with the Nizam of Hyderabad in 1798. In 1800, the Nawab of Awadh also signed the subsidiary treaty. So who signed the subsidiary treaty? Initially it was with the Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam is basically a post, you can say. Nizam is basically king of Hyderabad. So first it was signed with king of Hyderabad in 1798. Then in 1801, the Nawab of Awadh also signed the subsidiary treaty. Peshwa Bajirao II, he also signed the subsidiary treaty at Basayan in 1802. Many chiefs of Rajputs also accepted the supremacy of British and signed treaties. With this, the British became the supreme political power in India. So slowly and steadily, most of the rulers, they started signing treaty with the Britishers. Now you will ask a question, you will say, ma'am, when the Indians were already aware that Britishers will take advantage by this treaty, then why were they signing this treaty? See, they were signing this treaty because Britishers army was already considered as a strong army. So Britishers said that if you will sign this treaty with us, we will give our army to you. Now if A has signed subsidiary treaty with the Britishers, so now Britishers will give them A the army. So what will happen, let's suppose A के rivals है, राजपूत है, मराठा है. सो अब अगर मराठास ए पे वॉर करना चाहेंगे, सो नाउ ब्रिटिशर्स विल हेल्प देम, ओके. एंड यू इवन नो दैट ब्रिटिशर्स वर कंसिडर्ड स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ, their army were considered strong enough. So why will any ruler even try to defeat the Britishers army? So there were two basic purpose, okay.